I wanted a slider for my SLR camera and my GoPro, but I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars. So I came up with this very simple idea. Old skateboard wheels, old rollerblade wheels. If you don't have any of those, you can buy them new. Anywhere from a couple bucks a piece. You can pivot it a little bit if you want. To adjust the angle when you come forward, you can certainly pivot it this way. Go back and forth. I did that on a couple shoots. I've looked at all sorts of different kinds of rigs for sliders. There's ones where you use the slider from an actual drawer, but I wanted a lot of range. I wanted something that was smooth. I wanted something that could arc. And this design that I came up with does all that for just a couple dollars. $15 if you need to buy brand new wheels. But I tell you what, if you can get some old ones, they will bring the cost of the build to just a couple bucks. Let me show you how I built this. All this is PVC. So it's all 1/2-inch PVC. 2-inch PVC here, 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 here. You can either glue it in place to the elbow, or you can use super glue. 3 T's, 2 for the axles, 1 for this mount here, 1 1/4 inch piece of 1/2-inch PVC for the axles, 1 inch length of PVC. You put a piece of shark bite tubing in there, slides right in like that. You take a bolt, put 2 nuts, 1/4 inch nuts on there, make sure that it's straight. Push them in like this. Give them a couple taps or push them down. Make it all flush. Take out the bolt. And you've got an axle. All that does is it goes in here like this. Press it in. Voila. An axle and you're ready to go. Do 4 of those, 1 for each of the corners. Is took a 1-foot rod of 1/4 inch 20, cut it in half, 6 inches, and you got yourself 2 axles. Here's a detail of the axle, 6 inches long. You can put on some washers there and tighten them down, or just use a lock washer there. Then you just put a nut there, slide this back on, put a nylon nut that will lock down. Give it a little twist. And there you go. All the hardware is the same. The only exception was this was a 5/16 hole. There was no spacer in there when I took it off the skateboard. So I took a pen, just one of these standard pens, pulled out the ink section, and then cut down 1-inch sections and slid them in there. And it worked as a spacer perfectly. It also protects the axle that's got the grooves in it still. I didn't want to grind that down. This was just the simplest way to do it. I want this to be all kind of lined up as much as possible. I'm going to use the gel glue because the regular liquid super glue that I've used a little bit on this build can be a little problematic. Squirt some in there. I think this is going to work just fine. Just want to keep it in place. Not a lot required. I'm just going to use kind of a cable tie end, spread it around a little bit, and then just push these suckers together. The gel gives you a little bit of work time as opposed to the regular super glue that I find just sets up almost immediately. Come on. Ah, boy. Still don't have a lot of time. Okay, I had to go a little medieval on the joint to make sure that it worked. I think I've got it in fairly good alignment. Pretty good. Let's test it out. Put it in the sliders. The camera mount is the same for all of them. It's just a 1-inch, 1/4-inch 20 screw that's basically put into an axle. And then you can just turn it and then mount whatever you desire. All this is just a coupling that I've taken and put some gaffer tape around. You can also paint it. On here, if you see, actually had a little extra space. I wanted to make a little stabler, so I just put a rubber gasket in there and a washer, 1/4-inch washer, and that thing is rock solid. Because this is an expensive camera, and I don't want to break it. Secret, it's my wife's, which makes it even more important not to break. Thinner wheels, thicker wheels. This is actually as stable as this. I just like the little lighter format, and so you can see that it's so loose that this one actually pops out. The build is finished with just a basic gloss paint that's good for wood, metal, and plastic. I use this all the time for all my builds. It really kind of gives a professional finish to it. I think you'd be surprised on how many inline skates people are getting rid of. Used skates don't sell for hardly anything. You can get them up at Salvation Army's, used any kind of used store, or sometimes you can find them from friends that are just giving them away. At the beginning I showed you a roller video that I took using a bass guitar on a black marble table, and now I'll demonstrate these rigs being used outside. This flat, heavier one is also good for, especially for a big SLR, something like this. I was very happy with the smoothness. If you're on a rough surface, here's the magic hint: use cardboard. That will smooth it all out for you. There you go, 2 versions. Stand by. I have a whole bunch of different things I'm going to do with this basic design. Look for them soon. Thumbs up and comments, always appreciated.